It's now the Monday after the Saturday before, and I've just finished what is my final long run. It was 30k and hit me quite hard actually. I needed to get another big one in because there was 5 weeks I think between doing the 50k and the 100, and having a couple of days off, and then doing multiple back-to-back runs, then taking 3 days off I think it was, before then doing 30k. I hit my legs pretty hard, and I've got just the grumblings of tendonitis just on the inside of my knee, which I think is coming from my hamstrings. I've had this hamstring problem that came about on the 50.
My left leg's just about holding up, but hamstrings are tight, calves are tight, feet are sore. It's all right.
And showed up again towards the end of the 30 that I've just done.
My left hamstring's tightened up quite badly, so I need to figure out what's going on there. I think I've just overtrained.
And it's certainly biomechanical. I'm pretty sure it's actually the running technique. And what's happened is I've got this flare up of tendon pain, which seems to be hitting the inside of my back of my knee quite hard, and it got pretty inflamed. It meant that the last sort of 3 or 4k of the 30 a couple of days ago it was all walking really, even some of the downhill bits.
28 kilometres in on a 30. The last 4 or 5 have been mostly walking.
And so you get home, you ice it. You rest it. The good thing is that is the last of the long runs now, and I am now just over 2 weeks out from the 100, and thinking about my taper, and this is the opportunity to let my body heal up and rest. I've got a lot of work to do in terms of icing, and then I'll do what's called contrast bathing, which is hot and cold. You alternate hot and cold, and these things clear up. I don't think it's injured, I just think it's an overuse injury. I talked to the physio about it. She agrees. My hamstrings were very tight, and my left one is weaker, which makes sense with a bit of an overuse issue coming in. It's weaker obviously because of that hip and back problem that I had for those months sort of earlier this year. So I'm caught between working on doing a little bit of strength, but also not setting off the tendonitis, because if I go into that Jurassic 100 with tendonitis and it's not gone, and by that point it's going to be horrible. It's going to be hard enough as it is. That's the last thing. But I really need now to concentrate on just getting myself healed and right for that 100. Last year I had to abandon it. I ended up with a DNF at 84k, purely because my feet gave out and the blistering was astonishing.
Now, blistering was a real problem for me last year, to the point where it almost cost me one of my toes, I'm sure. I hit blistering quite early in the challenge, and it just got progressively worse. Even after I treated it, it got worse and worse, to the point then where it tore all the skin off my toes, which then meant that I was focusing too much weight on the other side, which then skinned the balls of my other foot, and in the end, when both your feet are bleeding and you've got a 8-kilometre stretch of Shingle Beach awaiting you, it's it's just not the smart thing to do. Otherwise, my worry was, and the medic's worry was, that I would have some serious problems and infection and things like that. So it just wasn't worth it. But this year, I'm going into it eyes wide open. I've been treating my feet every single day. I've been filing the dead skin, which sounds awful, right? I've been putting some specialist hiking foot cream on it, Garewell, if you're interested. Great stuff to help strengthen the skin and make sure there's no ridges or hard skin areas as best I can. And fingers crossed, there's been no blisters so far throughout any of my running. I've changed my footwear slightly as well and gone into a wide fit shoe, which I think's made quite a difference. And you test these things, but it's making sure now, the next 2 weeks, I'm making sure that I rest, I mobilise, try and avoid stress, easier said than done, and just start to put together plans for the actual day. Yeah, it's getting ever nearer, and the excitement's starting to build. I think it's more excitement than anxiety. My body's throwing a few little curveballs at me, as it does every time I decide to do something way out of my comfort zone, and I'm all right with that. It's just getting my head set right so that I don't self-sabotage in any subconscious way, and that's the thing. I'll talk about that in a different video about mindset and working on that. That's an area that I know very well, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this biomechanical assessment, and I'm sure any of you following this may be interested to see how awful my running form is when it's examined by an expert. So thanks for watching, hit the like button, and see you in the next one.